All right. And we ready to go, Brandis?
Yep.
All right. Hey, Facebook Live and podcast. Well, how's everybody doing out there? It's time for another episode of Things My Mother Never Told Me. Can you say hey?
Hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And do we have a fabulous guest for you today?
Yes, yes. And I let me give her a quick shout out because she agreed at the last minute when the person I had scheduled couldn't do it. So we want to thank you for that.
Yes.
So Tanya's going to read your bio and then we're going to jump into this.
Yeah, I'm going to read a little bit of something about Miss Ramona H. Pearson. Not only she's an author, businesswoman, motivational speaker, and retirement specialist, CPA. She's a native of Baltimore, Maryland, and graduate of Western High School. Ms. Pearson holds a BA in accounting from Morgan State University, summa cum laude, and an MBA from the University of Detroit. She has been an adjunct faculty member of Walks College in Troy, Michigan, and a former faculty member of Morgan State University. Ms. Pearson has a passion for personal financing. She refers to herself as a wethologist. I like that word. That's big. Big. This year, she has brought the practice of wethology to her clients. It's a system of methods that entails designing and defining wealth for each individual so that targeted financial planning can take place. Ms. Pearson has been a speaker on financial topics for national organizations, a guest on local television, a published author in local newspapers and magazines. On her website, you will find valuable information for evaluating your current financial position and progress toward financial goals, as well as videos of some of her television appearances. Her CPA firm, Ramona H. Pearson CPA PC, focuses on tax compliance. Business Office Consultants LLC provides also financial management consulting service, and the Pearson Group LLC, Healthy, Wealthy, Wise LLC specialties in individual financial services and products. She is a licensed CPA, a former member and officer of the Michigan State Board of Accountancy, former member of the AICPA Future Committee and Council, and another host of all other kinds of organizations. Pearson has served in leadership capacities on numerous community service organizations over the years, recently retiring from the board of the Ecumenical Theological Seminary. All right. In May of 2018, Pearson published her first of 3 books planned on topics of financial planning. She introduces the character Roomy Bear in the first book. I like Roomy Bear. A primer on retirement issues we all need to consider in our planning. When not golfing, Pearson is an avid reader of the Bible.
All
Amen.
right. Amen.
Yeah.
All right, Ramona, how you doing today?
I am just flying by the seat of my pants like I've always done.
Well, it's good to have a good pair of pants on, right?
It's good to have them on. You're so right about it.
So a couple things I want to look at. We were talking before we started, and we like to point this out to folks. HBCU graduate.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. I will tell you, it is such an amazing thing to come from an HBCU. It really is. I feel like I have been sort of babied, through school, because I'm just surrounded by all these trailblazers.
All right.
And
Yes.
and in fact, I will tell you real quick that one of the trailblazers in Baltimore was a guy whose name was Benjamin L. King. He was the first Black CPA on the Maryland State Board of Accountancy ever.
Okay.
And I met him as a 19-year-old who graduated from high school, ready for secretarial work. I was doing shorthand at 160 words a minute. I was typing at 120 words a minute. I was absolutely positively overqualified for the job. And I didn't get it. And I was told to go to the Council for Equal Business Opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And I went there because they were handling a lot of the discrimination kind of stuff, you know, and they ended up hiring me.
Oh, wow.
And this Benjamin L. King was the chair of the board. And you know, he said to me, when are you gonna get your CPA? And I'm like, you know, dude, I would have said, I'm just trying to make some money and go to school at night and, you know, help my mom out, you know, stuff like that.
Right.
And he kept the full press on. And finally, I ended up going to Morgan State at night. I worked full-time at Providence Hospital in the accounts payable department.
Wow.
And then, you know, I finally graduated from Morgan. And, you know, it took me 5 years instead of 4. And that's important because some people think that, you know, you got to go 4 years.
Right. That's right.
And
And
you
so-
were summa cum laude too.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And you know, the thing is, there I was, you know, working at a place where the first Black CPA who was on a state board of accountancy in this country
Right.
was.
Wow.
And he had like 5 kids. And oh, by the way, they're all CPAs now. They've all been on these 2 of them have been on the state board of accountancy in Maryland. But the important thing is that Benny said to me, he said, you're going to be on the state board. So he just like planned it out. I don't even know what the state board of what. And lo and behold, I get here to Michigan. I get appointed to the state board of accountancy. I write this endearing letter to Benny.
Right. Right.
And the National Association of Black Accountants, which I was national president of, they printed the letter that I had written to Benny.
All right.
It was posthumous, but I gave it to his son, Benny Jr., and his daughter, Kara.
Yes.
And it's like, you know what? And that's why I know I'm a living example of you plant these ideas in these young people's heads.
Yes. Yes.
And they believe you.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, you said it because I was going to say it too. It's a perfect example of pouring in the young people that aren't your own kids.
That's right. That aren't your own kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, he didn't know me from Adam.
Right. And look at you. Right. And look at you now.
Right. Exactly. And so, you know, from a bio perspective, when I walked out of Morgan State University, I had a job because I was a student member of the Baltimore chapter of the National Association of Black Accountants.
All right.
And so it was me, I'm like 19 and 20, and I'm surrounded by these guys, the first Black to go to Ernst & Young, the first Black to do this, and I'm just like absorbing all this.
Not to
I
mention
always
you was a cutie.
Well, you know, hey, let me tell you, I told people I never looked for a job. Once I got involved with the National Association of Black Accountants.
Okay.
I didn't look for a job.
Right.
They were always being offered, you know, to me.
Yeah.
And that's how I got to Detroit. Thank you, Jesus. I love it here.
Yeah. I was going to ask you that. What brought you here?
I was at a NABA convention in New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
And I must tell you, the brothers and sisters, they said to me, you need to come to Detroit. You got to come to Detroit. We got Black mayor and, you know, Black folks got it going on.
They up and coming.
Yeah. And I said, okay. You know, no one in my family had left Baltimore at that time.
Wow.
And so here I was in Detroit, you know, and you know, met Coleman Young before he passed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, when I got into the profession, it's like, you know, women were doing everything they had to do to stay because you know, it's like a male environment.
Right.
And so I used to wear these nice suits, but I would wear a tie and a really nice shirt.
Really?
Right.
And I never remember, I will never forget having this white and blue pinstripe shirt with a white collar, and I had a tie on, and I was at the Newton Mansion for Coleman Young something. This is when I was at AY.
Right.
And I never remember Coleman Young, he looked at me, he said, you know, I like that tie.
Yeah, well, that's Coleman.
Yeah, he was so cool.
That's Coleman.
I would have said the same thing.
Let me ask you. So you said you where's that? You were raised in Baltimore?
Absolutely.
Do you know any Carters?
Carters.
One Reverend Carter. He
What church?
recently passed away. I don't even know the name of the church. He recently passed away. I was just wondering if you
Okay.
if you don't know.
I just so you know, in the tradition of the AME, My mother, my grandmother, my great grandmother, we were all at Payne, A&E.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And Vashti, of course, was there for a short stay, Vashti McKenzie.
Right.
First female bishop in the A&E church.
Okay.
So Baltimore, that dastardly place,
Right.
quote unquote.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll talk about that at golf then when I figure out what the church was.
Okay.
Yeah, because his daughter is here and she worked with me at the IRS.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah. So you got a long list of accomplishments. You told us how you got into accounting and I don't know where you want to start.
I want to start at that passion for personal financial planning.
Okay.
That passion for that.
Okay, let's start there. How did that come about?
Well, the passion is so funny because when I went into public accounting and back in the late 70s, early 80s, the big thing was the Big 8 firm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Ernst & Young, Arthur Anderson, which is no longer around, right?
Right.
Pete Morgan Mitchell, those companies, and Deloitte and Touche. And so I was with the Big 8. And I will tell you, I really didn't love auditing.
Uh-huh.
And shortly after I was at Arthur Young, maybe about 4 or 5 years, the American Institute of CPAs came out with a personal financial planning division.
Okay.
And so I joined it in 1984. And I just have a passion for taking the concepts that businesses are run by and taking those same concepts and applying them to your personal life.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because quite frankly, 1,000 years ago, we were all farmers.
Right.
And that was a business.
Yeah.
And that was the whole household. And farmers have to do everything that so-called, other businesses, non-farming kind of businesses do.
Right.
And so that passion, was rooted there. And I was just sort of off doing what all college students do, get a fast car, spend whatever money you had, because I really didn't have anybody in my household to say, you always got to have $1,000.
Right.
You always got to have $1,000. There was nobody $1,000. You kidding? We had $1,000. We would have blown up.
I mean, tell the truth. That's right.
Yeah, we would have. And so, so my husband who passed, Edward, was actually a financial planner for Connecticut General and Connecticut General Life Insurance Company. And I remember, and I always tell this story. I remember, he said, "You're a financial planner. So what do you have?" And so I sat down and put together my balance sheet and income statement, and it was horrible. And he looked at it and he said, "This is your balance sheet and your financial statement?" He said, "You're running around teaching financial planning?" He said, that makes you a hypocrite. Oh my goodness. Why did he do that? Why did he do that?
Right.
It's like the worst thing I could ever be. And so I cleaned up my act big time.
Right.
So much so that when he and I got married, the house that I was buying, I paid off.
Okay.
I got rid of the fast car and got a car that made sense. And so, when I married Edward, I didn't have any bills.
Wow.
Look, I'm gonna ask a crazy question, then we're gonna get back on point. What was that fast car? What kind of car was it?
Oh, it was a fire engine red RX-7. And I tell you, I used to burn some rubber between here and Maryland. Yes, I did.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And I get off of that. I just wanted to know. I knew it had to be read, and because I know I started reading your book, and you said he retired at 37.
Oh yeah, Edward retired 37. Yeah. He made a bunch of money. He had one of the, you probably don't remember back then, but there were 3 medical labs in the city of Detroit that were Black owned. A guy named, I think Reggie Henderson, he owned one of them. It's on 6 Mile Road. Okay. Edward had clinical labs on 8 Mile Road. And there was the third one And so, we had all these Black doctors, and, everybody had a Blue Cross card. And
Right.
I mean, it was really a good business, and he did really well. That wasn't his first business. That was probably his third business.
Right.
Because when he used to talk, he used to tell about, well, most people go in business failed first year and
Sure.
stuff like that. He's having he used to race cars, and he used to build engines for
Wow.
a lot of the racers.
Okay.
And so he had a business called Autotronics
Mhm.
right over on 6 Mile Road in
Okay.
Northwest Detroit off of Livernois.
Okay.
And
Okay.
and so, he had a lot of business experience, but he did really well with that lab. So yeah, 37, he quit. He also had a dairy hut. I don't know if you remember, there was a dairy hut
Yes.
beside the post office on
Right.
7 Mile
On
Road.
7 Mile. Right. Okay.
That was his. It
Okay.
had a Pac-Man machine. He talks about, having so much change and being able to having to carry it out. And you know what? When he was in that business, he used to dress like a janitor, and he'd be outside sweeping,
Uh-huh.
listening to what people would say.
Wow.
And he made his own ice cream.
Yeah. Okay.
So I mean,
Right.
so yeah,
So a lot to learn from how he conducted himself.
Yeah.
And in fact, how Black folks supported each other
absolutely,
in a business venture. Yeah.
absolutely.
Wow. And I, like you said, he really influenced you a little bit too, huh?
Oh yeah, he turned me into a monster. He told me I was one of his best students.
I ain't mad at him, I'm telling you.
Right.
And then you started turning that passion into helping other women.
That's right, big time,
Right. So
big time.
go ahead, because I know you got I'm gonna let y'all do y'all girl talk.
No, you know what?
Well,
You know what? One of the things, because my first real job was at Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan.
okay.
And I remember every time we would get bonuses, I'm like you. I never had so much money, so I started, being a little frivolous too.
Yeah.
Just spending it on clothes and doing like all the other Black women when we got, because us Black women, we love to dress.
That's right.
That Black
that's
culture
right.
love to dress.
You gotta have the
And
right
then
shoes and the right bag in Detroit.
Yes, and then they can see the guy next to me, he's spending his bonuses buying stock in Mickey Mouse. In Disneyland, he's up there saying,
not this guy, the one at work.
Yeah.
and I was like, oh man. And it wasn't until years later I was up there saying, no, I should have been hanging out with him, putting my money in that. And now,
Yeah.
he got all this stock in Disney World. He goes there every year with his family,
Oh,
da.
wow.
And I was like, what a missed opportunity.
It's been a great stock.
Yeah, right.
And it was way back in the 80s, it was definitely much cheaper than it was now.
Oh, absolutely. But, split a number of times. And the thing is, it's never too late.
Right.
Clean up one's act.
Right. That's right. It's not. And that's a good thing that people need to know, because, we got people of all ages listening, and some folks, once they get to a certain age, figure, oh, well, that ship is sailed, but it really hasn't.
Right.
As long as you willing to make some sacrifices or just make some adjustments, really.
Right. Exactly. Adjustments. Decide, what's important.
Yeah. Well, so you what I want to do, because I found this interesting. Then we'll get this other part. This book that you wrote, The Roommates for Retirement. I had started reading it, and
Me too.
And I found some interesting points in there. So let's talk about how you came up with the title.
Yeah, that's really interesting, because I tried to get other people involved in the title. I actually had about, I don't know, 15 or 20 people. I gave them some thoughts about titles, and I asked them to pick the one that they liked the best. And it didn't have Roomy Bear there to influence them.
Okay.
And so they really seem to like the Roommates for Retirement more so than get your nest egg right, or stuff like that. Roommates for Retirement. So interesting, because whenever I talk to my female friends about Roommates for Retirement, I don't want no roommate.
Right.
I don't want no roommate, and I'm like, but still read the book. It still has good stuff in it.
That's right.
Yeah, because I read some of the roommate testimonials, and like you said, it's interesting how, like you said, if you find the right roommate, it works.
I'm telling you, and if we all go back, like the folks who were fortunate enough, shall we say, who went to college and had roommates.
Had roommates.
Mhm.
Okay, I mean, there was a desire on the part of these institutions, of course, for people to interact with each other and socialize.
Mhm.
But it was really economics, because you could afford to have your own room.
Right. Right.
And so the same thing is true here, except maybe you can afford to have your own space, but just imagine what would happen, if you shared that space. And I talk in the book a lot about just the cost of housing.
Right.
It's one of the biggest costs you'll ever have.
Yeah.
And so if it's taking 30 to 40% of each person's income to have housing, what happens if you split that and
Right.
and it's only 20%?
Right.
And you could do something different with the other 20%. So
Right.
you know what? It's not a new idea. It's like I tell people, coffee isn't new either, but Starbucks, is making a whole bunch of
Made a
money
whole lot of money.
selling a product that's 3,000 years old, right?
Right.
And so this is not a new concept. What it is just taking that same concept and using it, for your own benefit, like now.
Okay.
And it's a practical matter when, say for COVID, I know COVID sort of hurts the book a little bit because one of the things I talk about in the book is, you don't spend that much time at home anyway.
Right. And really, pre-COVID, you didn't.
No, pre-COVID you didn't, yeah. So I don't know, maybe I need to do the COVID version. Find some things for people to do when they're in,
Right. That's right.
I know it's been hard for a lot of people who actually have roommates.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
terms of, getting on each other's nerves and,
Yeah. Right. Even a lot of married roommates.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, people get on each other's nerves.
Yeah. COVID.
I should write a book about being married where the husband is retired and the lady works.
I wouldn't know anything about that. She retired first, so I wouldn't know anything about that. But yeah, but I mean, that can cause a problem. Sometimes people get jealous when one spouse don't have to go in and they do, and we both stuck in the same place all the time. Right. So you have where is it? I'm looking for the Pearson Group. Oh, Healthy, Wealthy, Wise LLC. What's the impetus behind that?
And actually, the thought was that, wealth is more than a bunch of numbers.
Mhm.
And stocks and bonds and all that stuff. And so my daughter in Belgium came up with this logo, representing, with the red and the blue and the green, sort of colors of the universe,
Mhm.
water and earth and
Right.
blood,
Right.
and the blood,
Right.
I could take that somewhere, right?
Yeah, you can go somewhere with that one. Right.
That's right. So, and she came up with a, with a logo, and I just decided that, we really need to expand the definition of what this whole wealth building thing is all about. Not just about, millions of dollars. It's about being healthy.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's about, the book of Proverbs, right? Wisdom.
Right. Right.
And using wisdom and taking really some of the pressure off of ourselves
Yes.
to what others define as wealth.
Right.
And say, hey, here's my version of wealth.
Okay.
I'm happy in my limited space. I'm happy, having money in my pocket.
Right.
I can be totally selfish in this.
Yes.
And people, I think, may be misled, into believing, that they need millions and millions of dollars to be happy.
That's what I
Right.
That's what I be telling some of my friends. When I retired, I was like, I've only been there 31, 32 years. You've been there 47. how much more money do you need?
Right, exactly, exactly.
47, 50 years and we the same age.
Right. Well, I think part of the problem with retirement for some people is that they're just not sure what happens in
Right.
retirement.
Yeah.
And that's why they need a financial planner. And that's another misconception. A financial plan is only for people with bunches of money. It's just not true, because the basic personal finance stuff is complicated enough.
Mm-hmm.
That everyday people need somebody to help them filter,
Yes.
all the information that's out there,
Right.
into a workable plan,
Right.
for themselves. And that's what we do. That's what that, uh, you know, chart behind me is all about.
Okay. And right. And in keeping with your the three points of the healthy, wealthy, wise thing, a lot of people don't retire not because they don't have enough money,
Right.
but they retire because they don't have the mental health, I guess, if you could put it that way. Because some folks, you've seen them, they retire, seem to be pretty healthy person, and then within 2 years they're dead.
Yeah.
And usually because they have so much of their personal emotional life tied up in work and the friends at work,
Hmm.
that when they leave, they don't have anything.
Yeah, that's really true. That's an interesting point that you make, and so that's why, quite honestly, some people really need to transition, from work, to retirement,
Right.
and give themselves an opportunity to establish something else,
Yes.
that they're going to love more, than going to work.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. Because I actually consider myself to be semi-retired, and I think I have been, really for a number of years. Tell you the truth, because
Yeah.
right now, it's hard to put anything before golf.
That's right. That's right.
You and me both, because I'm up and saying the minute they tell me to come in, I will quit.
Well, it's good. It's good that you got something that you can put before work.
I mean, it's really hard.
Right. Yeah.
It's really hard. But I call myself sometimes, I mean, I use the word wealthologist, but really the finance doctor.
Okay.
I
and-
like that.
And it's hard to leave your patients,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they really love you, and they really need you.
Okay.
I am so close to the people that I do this planning for, really,
Okay.
and have been doing planning for as much as 20, 25 years.
Oh,
Wow.
Oh, wow.
And some of them haven't even retired yet, and we've been going through this process. And so one of the things I like to do in my practice is, when I get people, is to give them a projection, out into the future, to take what today is,
Yeah.
and run it out 20 years.
Okay.
And what that does is that keeps them looking forward.
Yes. Yeah.
And so they can actually see the numbers. And I would say the numbers really aren't that far off. I mean, we're not making any promises. We're just taking what you have today, and we're using some mathematics to basically, say, well, if you do what we're talking about,
Right.
reasonably out into the future, it could look like this.
Okay.
And the whole purpose of meeting at least annually, is to just make sure that there's nothing that really, jerks, the numbers.
Right. And so I like what you just said, because
Yeah.
a lot of people think that when they have financial planners, that it's like a monthly or weekly, like a social club type meetings where you meet all the time. But
Yeah.
you just said once you get it all set up, once a year, it can be plenty.
Yeah, once a year is enough, because see, I'm going to hear from people during the year, and they're going to
Right.
call me up for this, call me up for that, and so I mean, phone call away. Where I'm not like a lawyer, you call and then you see the bill a couple of days later. Yeah, it's not like that.
Okay.
In the business, from a monetary perspective, you're just trying to drum up enough activity,
Mm-hmm.
that you can then just be on cruise control in terms of people asking you questions all year long, because life is happening all year long.
Right.
Mhm.
And
Right.
what financial planning really is life planning.
Right.
people have children, children get married, people lose children, people get sick, people lose
Yes.
friends. I mean, that's the day to day. And the thing about it is that they all have financial implications.
Right. That's right.
And I really got started with a lot of women who were losing their husbands and finding out, that their financial situation, what was not, what it needed to be,
Mhm.
or quite honestly, just being taken advantage of
Mhm.
and being
Yes.
put in products and things like that
Yeah.
that they shouldn't have been in.
Okay.
Because I will tell you, the worst thing a person can do is make financial decisions, within a week, a month, or
Mhm.
months of losing a spouse.
Right.
Because you all messed up
You all
You
messed
all
up.
messed up.
Yeah.
emotionally.
Yeah.
How do you make those kind of decisions?
Yeah.
That's my
sh-
own personal view.
Right. You don't and you shouldn't.
You really, you don't and you shouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you really can't even think like that when you have a clear head.
Exactly. It's
And
tough
nothing
enough. It's tough enough, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, very
mm,
difficult for men and for women,
Yeah.
for that matter.
Right.
And of course, that's the other thing. Damon, of course, you're not like that. Where a lot of women just feel like only men can make those decisions.
Right. That's right. That's right. No, she make her own decisions.
You're not like that.
Because she not gonna listen to me anyway. Most of the time.
Because I do have my own voice.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Because I tried to get her retired 3 years before she retired.
Okay.
So yeah. But I told her, when you're ready to retire, just retire.
Well, of course, I am very much open about, my feelings about African Americans in retirement.
Yes.
And I for one, am so excited. I have so many retired clients. I'm so happy about it because
Mhm.
it's a space that we just never had,
Right.
for years and years and years.
Yes.
And I think one of the ways we got talking about some of this, Damon, was I was telling you that I put together a presentation on Social Security.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the statistics that just plummeted out was the fact that there are 17 states in the United States where African American men are expected to live longer than 66.
Yeah.
And so with the full retirement age of 67,
Yeah.
that means Black men are basically just paying them Social Security for 66 years and they die.
Right.
Mhm.
And it's not like Social Security writes you a big check and say, oh, here's what happened over 66 years that
Right.
spouse lived,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
No, there's no legacy in it.
Yeah.
And so that has all kinds of planning implications,
Right.
in a world
Yes.
that's not sensitive to that.
Exactly. Exactly.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
So I'm like, don't sit down and talk to Black people about waiting until you're 70,
Mm-hmm.
because that little 8% a year, it's not like that 8% a year that you're letting go is going to go to your family,
Right.
because you have such a high chance of being dead if you make it to 70.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. And
You know
that's
what
it. Yeah. Yeah. Like we were talking yesterday. The other day we were talking. It's like when I was getting ready to retire, me and some of my friends that were trying to, be sensible about the whole thing. That's the conversation that we had.
Yeah.
And so we did the numbers as to how much, Social Security would pay at 62 versus how much it would pay at 67 or at 70. And it's a lot more money. But when you leave all that money on the table,
Right.
then you got to look into how long it takes for you to recover
That's
everything you left on the table. And then, like you just said, if you even live long enough to do it.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, you retire at 70, you die at 75. I mean, those 8 years, you could have been enjoying
Yeah.
Mhm.
your life.
Yeah. And if you do the
I
right.
got friends right now
Yeah.
still working in, they 47 years, 50 years,
Mhm.
Of employment.
almost 70.
Right. Well,
Full
exactly.
time. Still
Well,
working full time.
It's so funny. I just had a conversation with an African American male who I'm gonna say he is 76 or 7. And he said he started taking Social Security at 62. And I said, you've done good. You've
Yeah.
done good. You know, because again, you know, is one of those things where, so many people, he said, you know what? He says, I'm the only first cousin, my brother and I, we're the only first cousins in the family. And I said, that's very interesting because my brother is the only male first cousin who's still alive. And each of my mother's sisters had at least one son.
Wow.
And they're all gone.
All gone.
They would be 70, 71, 72.
Yeah.
But they're
Yeah.
gone from all kinds of stress-related illness associated with being a Black male in America.
Right. And as we see it now, you know, with not just with COVID, because it started before COVID, but so many Black people
Mhm.
younger than 60
Right.
are dying.
I know.
And
I know.
and like you said, the stress of being us in America
Yeah.
is playing a role in that. And I'm not, not putting it on the dominant society, because
Right.
we ourselves play a large role in some of us not making it to maturity too.
Well, there's no question about it. There's
Yeah.
no question about it. You have to learn ways of coping, with madness all the time.
Right.
And so, yeah, I mean, we can't, well, first of all, it doesn't do any good to blame
Right.
somebody else, because once you blame somebody else, you've lost all control,
Yes.
right? Over yourself and what you can do,
Right.
you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
So yeah, but I think we have to be aware of the fact that, and you're not gonna hear it in general, but you gotta be aware of the fact that, statistically, waiting till 70, I haven't done the math, but I'm willing to bet if I do the math in terms of, comparing, the death statistics, by income. I'm talking about just within our community,
Right.
just by income, by lifestyle. I mean, one of the things I notice is a lot of Black men who go to church live a long time. They live a
Right.
long time.
Yes,
Right.
they do.
Right.
I mean, you go to church and you see these men in church, it's like, wow,
Yeah,
how
Yeah.
did they escape the stats?
Right.
I'm
Ha
telling
ha
you.
ha.
We have a lot of 80s and 90s. Yes, we do.
That's right. Ha
Yeah.
ha.
Even marriages that's almost
Yeah.
60
Well-
years and carrying on.
Well, you know what? It's so funny you should say that because in Sunday school, at New Prospect, I kind of had picked out a guy, for a client that's like in the 80s, and there's a guy at New Prospect. In fact, he passed during COVID. Such a heartbreaker. Yeah, I kind of had him. He was suave, charming, and debonair and dapper. Yeah, I had somebody for him, and I was so excited about waiting until things opened up again so I could approach him.
Right.
And say,
Yeah.
"Hey, are you dating?" Yeah.
Say, boy, do I got somebody for you.
Yeah, but you know what? To your point, though, about about the control that we have,
Yeah.
over our destiny, and which might include our lifestyle and our lifespan.
Yeah.
I mean, you look to the church, you got to ask yourself, why
Yeah.
all these brothers in church, over 70,
Right.
many of them,
Yeah.
how did they defy this incredible statistic
Right.
where only 17 states have life expectations for Black males over 66? 17 states out of 50.
Out of 50.
Okay, states like North Dakota has 5,950 Black people when this study was done.
Wow. Not many, not many in the whole state.
That's what I'm saying. Interesting stuff.
Right. So I was looking at some other stuff on your bio, and you do. Where is it at? It says you over your 30+ year career, you continue to serve a wide range of governmental units, educational institutions, nonprofit organizations and individuals in Michigan,
Yeah.
Atlanta, Georgia, with Georgia, Florida, Nevada, Maryland, Louisiana, and Texas.
Yeah, my clients are all over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Most of all the corporate clients are actually here in Michigan, but the individual clients are in those states. Yes.
How'd you pull that off?
Well, people leave town and they keep me.
Okay. Oh.
And then I can play golf there.
Yeah, because I know every year during golf season, there's a few periods where you're gone out of town working.
Yeah, like to get folks, but I'll tell you, my daughter's in Belgium, and I'm going to have to talk to that Belgian pro that was in I saw in the Olympics earlier today or yesterday, and ask her where the golf courses, because I tell you, Alvin and I played a real cow pasture when we were over there.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so what, getting nosy, what made her go to Belgium?
Well, she was in Spain, immersing herself in the Spanish language. She has a degree in Spanish from Oakland University.
Okay.
And she meets these people from Belgium, and she just loves Belgium. Now, remember, this is the kid that would not spend one night at overnight camp. But she made her way from Spain to Belgium. And immersed herself. Now she speaks fluent French.
Okay.
And she has an online school teaching French and Spanish and English.
So she kind of smart.
She's a language person.
Yeah, she's a language person.
Oh, by the way, she left here as one of the top 50 basketball players in Michigan.
Okay.
And she's playing sort of like a semi-pro basketball league over there.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
What's her name?
Ashley Pearson.
Oh, okay.
Ashley.
Yeah, because my daughter, our daughter went over and she played in Bosnia for a year and a half.
Oh wow! You know what? I wonder. She may know one of the other Roper kids. Bianca Barton was the point guard when my kids' school won their division.
Yeah.
They weren't in the A. They
right.
were in the big schools like Renaissance and stuff like that.
Yeah, because when she was playing AAU, they practiced at some of those schools out there, Roper and
AAU.
Yeah. So okay, she probably that basketball community, especially for the girls, is a real tight community. So she probably knows someone.
Yeah.
You know what? I just looked at the clock and I gotta ask you this question because I know we started late, so we still got more time. But I gotta ask you this question. We always ask all our guests.
Okay.
And so you went into the finances and how it affects our community,
which most of our parents didn't tell us
right
about.
Right. And a lot of people, when I ask this question, a lot of people, that's the answer they give.
Yes, they do.
The show is things my mother never told me.
Right.
And so as you grew up and then you progressed into your life and your career and all the stuff you've done in your travels, is there something that you discovered as an adult that your mother did not prepare you for or did not tell you about when you were young?
Yeah, but it's probably something I'd say in a girls' chat room.
Ooh, okay.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Well,
That's where you going with it, huh?
Well, I guess I'll leave that right there. I'll leave that right there.
Yeah. Woo. I'll tell you. Motherhood and apple pie. Well, you know what? I could answer that question a different way.
Okay.
I think in some ways our parents would rather we just learn it for ourselves. Because there's some things in life I think that are, I don't want to say uncomfortable, painful.
Yeah.
That if you knew in advance, it was like you'd have this load.
Yeah.
People you just have this load and say, why, it's like you didn't tell me about this.
Yeah.
But I think in some ways, our people in particular, we try, at least years ago, we make our kids tough because the society is tough on them.
Right.
and it seems to be very different nowadays. Nowadays it's like, oh, we're not even going to talk about the society stuff,
Right.
At all.
Right.
And then one day your kid comes home and they look at you and say, "Oh, mommy, you I was wrong. You're not a racist." um, so I think I could answer it in reverse. I think sometimes they don't want us to have the additional burden of knowing, that just some things are going to go against you.
Right. And yeah, I guess so. And then you would also probably, because if somebody told you something there was a negative thing, if you will, or a negative outcome or possibility, then you would walk into a situation with a preconceived notion about the situation, and make what may not be negative.
Right. Indeed. And in some respects, my parents, compared to me, in some ways were really naive, in a positive way. I mean, they were naive. They just had an exposure that
Right.
they didn't have. And I'm kind of glad.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they give you inner strength.
Yeah, right.
My daughter said she was having a rough time and she wished she was here and could put her head in my lap.
Okay.
And so I wrote her back and said, "But you can just close your eyes."
There you go.
And be there.
Right.
Because I can close my eyes and feel my mother's heartbeat.
All right.
Because I would do that,
Yeah.
Go home, licking your wounds. They told you about it, but you went anyway.
Right. That's right.
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 And you come home and you lick your wounds.
So that's that girl chat conversation.
Well, I'm just saying.
Right. But that's true. And that's the other part of some of the things that they probably didn't tell us because they knew we weren't gonna listen no way.
That's right. And my mother was scared of me. She thought I was just totally off the deep end, but thank God she was prayerful.
And some things we do have to learn for ourselves.
Yeah.
Some things we do have to learn for.
Yeah.
But sometimes, like I told I was saying too, that mine could have told me a little bit more about relationships and summer,
Yeah.
Because I definitely saw some of her rocky times. But another question I want to ask you too is why, now that we know better about our finances, why won't we do better? We got the 401ks, why are we so fearful of letting other people, like you said, if it hadn't been for our companies matching our money, we wouldn't even put it in there, period. Because I know a couple of people that did not retire with a 401k.
Right.
They don't trust people.
Well, actually many. And that's why I look at this book as an opportunity for people, men and women, to improve their lives. That's my thing about having additional resources is how you can actually improve your life by having those additional resources,
right?
And stress less. See, it's not it's like I talk about God bless a child who's got his own. That was a song.
Right.
It didn't come out of the Bible.
Right.
That's a song, and it's true. But it's only true in moments.
Yes.
And it's like you can have those additional resources. You can have that roommate, and then you can have those moments, of glad you got your own, space or your own car, or when your roommate goes on vacation.
Right.
The place is mine. Kind of thing. And so the idea of the book actually came from being a roommate.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
And I will tell you that my life was enhanced. It was so cool, to have my roommate,
right,
who didn't cook, and I did.
Mm-hmm.
And and we both had dogs, and the dogs liked each other. And and we were very different. She watched, crazy TV, and and I watched golf.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And she walked, I ran, you know, and you know, we trade watching the dogs. We could look out for each other coming home in the evenings and stuff like that.
Yes.
I mean, and it was an absolute blast.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It really was. I got used to it. She got used to it. And you know, we were both widows. And so I said, you know, roommates for retirement, it makes so much sense.
I know.
Right.
I mean, you know, our cup runneth over with money. When
Yeah.
we were roommates, you know, it's like, oh my goodness gracious, where all this money coming from?
Right.
You know, and
when
I
you
mean, so
shared, you're right. When you split it down and
Oh.
you got your home, yes.
It's major.
Yes.
It's major.
Half is great, ain't it?
And that was awesome. And so, you know, in the book, I talk about the fact that wealth in this country is amongst couples.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I mean, that's just a fact.
Mhm.
It's just a fact. You're right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Even the Lord said that.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah,
He,
You know what I'm
he
saying?
said it. Two is better than one any day.
Any day.
that's right. And so that's all I'm saying. It would give people an opportunity. And you know, and it helps in some other areas where people, you know, I mean, let's just say it the way it is. I mean, you know, the devil lies in wait,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
you know, and
Right.
sometimes
It
having-
preys on them old people all the time.
That's right.
Always the
That's right.
scams, always this. And
Exactly.
well, your
And
roommate could say, look, don't even listen to that. Excuse me, you know, they close the door on them.
Right. And you know, and also, you know, having roommates can help you out, you know, when you're young and crazy.
Right.
You know, you got somebody, you know, sort of like a check,
Yes.
you know.
Yes.
I mean, I would have done well to have had a roommate, you know, because I would find when I was young coming up and you know, my best girlfriends, you know, I heard them saying things to me like, you know what, you should stop, you know,
Yeah.
or you shouldn't, or you know, stuff
Mhm.
like that. And so, you know, you kind of give up, you know, some
Right.
of those what shall we call it, borders,
Yes.
you know, that you have when you can have a roommate.
I know.
Mhm.
Not to mention somebody to just do something with. Girl, let's go see that movie. Girl, let's go.
That's right. That's right.
Girl, let's go hang out.
And
'Cause
hey-
I'm looking at my aunt now, 83, living in an apartment. We got to run over there every, you know what I'm saying? She keep, you know, just,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
mean for no reason.
And you look and you might get a TV show. Chapter 3, Golden Girls, Golden Years.
And look, we watch it all the time.
That's right.
We watch it. He and I watch it all the time. We get
And-
ready for bed and we still up. We'll turn on that channel and laugh at them. And
It's funny. It really is. And again, you know, not a new idea,
Right.
but it has real value if people would give themselves enough. I mean, I know many seniors living on the border of poverty,
yes,
making choices, you know, of medications, you know, things like that. And all it takes, to a great extent, is some unselfishness,
Yes.
you know, and all it takes is some unselfishness,
Right.
you know, on our parts,
Right.
you know, to really just think about, you know, we don't really think a lot, by
Right.
the way.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We really don't. We just react
We react.
and
Yeah.
we go and we move and we go and we don't think.
Right.
And we
Right.
carry around a lot of stuff that we're not even conscious of the fact that we actually have it in our heads.
Hmm.
But if we really stopped and thought and assess, you know, you know what we really value,
Right.
you know,
Right.
what do you value, you know?
Yeah.
I think we could come up with some folks and say, you know what, you know, I should try it, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, it would make a big difference in your life because
Mhm.
for sure, going back to what you said earlier, the biggest expense in retirement, and unless of course you paid your house off and everything is wonderful and nothing ever breaks down, is your
Right.
but your living expenses are your largest expense.
That's right. They are. They are, because even if you pay for your house, you know, the property taxes, the upkeep, the maintenance, you know.
Yeah, you know, back in the day, so many people when they paid their house off would still lose their house.
I know.
because they couldn't pay or forgot about paying those doggone property taxes.
I know. It's awful.
Yeah.
That's
So you
really awful.
right. So you need right that two is always going to be better than one, even in the moments where they don't so much get along.
You know, I would agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
Wouldn't, as Maya Angelou would say, wouldn't give nothing from a journey. And I'm liking this. I'm liking this.
Yes.
Alvin and I are just having a great time.
Right.
It was just a good idea because even when I had a roommate, we both set up our rules. I like this, I don't like that, I don't do this. And you know, certain things I'ma just look the other way. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But you know, as long as it's not criminal or illegal, you know what I'm saying? So, and
Exactly.
we just learned,
Right.
and we was great. And like you said, we are friends today.
That's right.
Great friends today.
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah.
my husband got friends for 40 years and stuff like that, but I got them for 30 plus.
I love it.
I had
I
several roommates that we are still friends today.
40 plus.
50 plus.
Well,
50 plus.
see, what Alvin and I, you know, one of the things we agreed to up front is that we're living in dog years. So, you know, so for every year it's 7.
Right,
Yeah.
right. There you go.
Yep.
So
Wonderful.
We're gonna have our 25th anniversary soon.
20 who?
25th.
25th.
Okay. Okay.
Soon.
But
Remember they in years. They living in dog years now. So
about 3.5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, that's why I had to stop because wait a minute. Okay. Oh yeah, that's what she said. That's dog years, 7. So how would one get in contact with you if they needed to or wanted to?
Oh, well, you know, my website is www.hwwllc.net.
Okay.
I know it's a mouthful. Forget about the www.
Yeah, forget about www. That, you know, it used to be. You see, you're showing your age. It used to be when you had to put that in there. Now you don't have to put that in anymore.
Well, that's right. Just go to Healthy Wealthy Wise LLC.
There you go. All
In
right.
Southfield, the Southfield address.
Okay.
And yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I have such passion for this work and for carving up. You know, I have no client that's alike.
That's
I
good.
believe it.
That's good.
It's not alike.
We all unique, you know, we all masterpieces. So yeah, I believe that.
It keep you from getting bored too.
That's, that's so true.
I had to keep you with all kinds of strategies.
So you got anything else coming up? I know you said that you wanted to do 3 books, and you got the first one. Is the next one in process?
Yeah. Actually, the second one is substantially substantially written.
Okay.
It's being updated. When I was at the University of Detroit getting the MBA, I wrote a paper called Women in Financial Planning.
Okay.
And you know, my professor wanted me to publish it then, and I didn't. And so what I've done now is expanded it.
Okay.
And I've had it updated by some millennials.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to put that in print. It'll be called, Financial Planning for Women.
Okay.
And so that's almost done.
Right.
And then I'm going to be, starting sort of a bit of I guess it's the podcast.
Okay.
It's going to be called the Third 15.
Okay.
The Third 15. The first 15 is your prayer,
Right.
and the second 15 is your exercise.
Okay.
And so the third 15 is going to be a financial piece for just 15 minutes.
Okay.
Wow.
Sounds good to me.
I like when you said we can start right now, where we are now with our finances with you.
There's no question about it.
You don't have to say, oh, I gotta have $100,000, or I gotta have this, that, and other. And,
right. No.
okay.
Yeah.
That's,
Right.
That's the important piece right there.
Right.
I can start from where I am right now with you.
Yeah.
And really in our community, I really think it's important for people, to have a piece of the market. I cannot overemphasize the need for our folks to have some money, in the market.
Right.
I mean, you just have to.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the only way to keep up with inflation.
Yeah. And if some of us would have got involved in the market years and years ago, we'd all be filthy rich.
Yep. There's no question about it.
Yes.
And you be trying to figure out who to give your money to.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Just the investment in mass right now would have been doing something.
That's right. Absolutely. So I'm real passionate about that, about people getting, in the markets in the right way.
Right. In the right way. Yeah.
And
And that's fearful for a lot of us too.
Yeah. And so when did you see your podcast start?
Well, it should have started. My Belgian daughter, who does all of my social media, tried to get me to do this back over a year ago.
Okay.
So we're looking at the fall.
Okay.
Right before people start doing their year-end planning and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's going to be real fast. It's going to be 15 minutes. Don't want to overwhelm anybody, but want to dig deep on a lot of little things.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'll tell you, because ours, when we started, we had no idea how long we were going to be on the air or none of that. It just morphed into what it morphed into.
Right.
So
that's what my daughter tells me.
Yeah, because I mean, our first episode was just us and Brandis talking, and we did 30 minutes, and that was cool. But that was the last time that happened because we the guests that we've had, yourself included, have so much to share.
Yeah.
That sometimes the hour is not enough.
Yeah.
So, but so we
That's
do
why
it.
we try to keep it fun and
Right, keep fun and lighthearted, and then you listen. It's there forever, so you listen as you can listen.
Right.
And pick up. But yeah, so let me know when that's going to come out. When that's going to start. And
absolutely.
Yeah, I like that.
So I'm gonna get to know Roomy Bear and see what I can do.
Yeah, this was Alvin's idea to have Roomy Bear. And, and we came up with, of course, everything that I do in the form of financial stuff has to be reviewed by my compliance folks. And so I had to change, I had a pot of gold and they wouldn't let me have it. So because it suggests some sort of promise.
Okay.
And you can't do that. So I had to get rid of the pot of gold and came up with the bear it now. Bear it now. It'll play on the word bear.
Yeah.
But also because people don't like to talk about money.
You don't.
The bear. It's like, okay, the bear is talking to you about the money.
Okay. I'm telling you, we had that fear about money. Yes, we do.
The bear.
We just like.
But now, remember I tell you about the green screen. Look at it now. You see the words, how they're disappearing.
I see. Yeah. They're like black and
they're green, but because of the green screen, they're fading. You can actually see the screen behind you through the words.
Right. Oh my gosh, I gave you the wrong book.
No, we good. I was just showing.
No, I did.
Oh, did you?
I meant to give you this book.
Which book is that? Let me see. Hold it down.
Oh
no, so you got to move it over because yours is disappearing into the background. Is that roommates for retirement?
Yes.
That's what we have. That's what we have.
Bear it now.
Huh?
Does it say bear it now on the front?
No,
it doesn't.
Okay, I've got to get you the one that says bear it now.
Oh, okay.
And I can get that one back.
Okay.
Oh,
okay.
All right.
Yeah, that's the one they made me change. They made me change the cover. It took months to get the cover changed because they didn't like that pot of gold.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see the sign on yours now. Yeah, I saw it when you just held it up. Okay.
All right. But the book is the same. Actually.
Same book. The cover's just different.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And so is there anything else you want to share with the folks before we get out of here?
Yeah, I do. I think people need to make sure that they're not being overly influenced by, this American thing about, individualism.
Yeah.
Staunch individualism. And the proof is in it's in the history books, that teaming up, can really bring some benefits.
Yeah, because you see big brands, they teamed up. You see a Tubby's inside a Amico gas station. You see
That's a great analogy.
yeah, you see, you know, I'm just saying.
That's a great analogy, right? Dunkin' Donuts inside
Yeah.
you know, certain
the ice cream place.
Yeah, all these
Brian's
stuff.
ice
It's
cream.
just you see that.
There's
Just like
value.
you said, they stopped doing all that. You was like, look, let us team up together.
Your point is well taken. Yeah.
Okay.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Great analogy. I couldn't have said it better. I think there are nuggets of information here for
yes, I believe me, I started on it.
Yeah.
for anybody.
Yeah, I agree with you, and without a doubt,
Just the titles of the content drew me.
Yeah.
but without a doubt, we need to realize that anything that we think we can do on our own, we can do so much better if we team up with somebody else and do
Yeah.
it.
Even
No
when they
question
team
about
up to throw parties or bring food to a party, you
That's
know,
right.
it's more. It's less money you had to spend.
Yep.
You know what I'm
Everybody
saying?
bring a piece. It works.
Everybody, yeah.
Yeah.
Bring something to the party.
Just make sure you know how to make potato salad and macaroni and cheese. Don't just show up.
Oh,
Don't
Mona,
just show up
thank
with
you
it.
for all those financial tidbits. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
it is so good because I love to travel with my husband, and we definitely love golf trips. We just went to Hilton Head and had a marvelous time with friends, and
Okay.
it was good.
And I played better today and yesterday than I did Monday. So
Okay.
Yes, he did.
That's what I love about the game of golf. You know, it makes us believe that, you know, we can go out there and do better than we did before.
right.
And we can.
And we
And we
can.
can.
And we can. And again, those lessons are life lessons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
We can
are.
play them same courses and pros play if they
Yeah.
let us in.
As long as we don't,
That's right.
We'll
quit.
tear up the course.
That's right.
All right. So Ramona, we want to thank you for coming on, and most especially on such short notice. We really appreciate you for that.
Thank
And
you.
And I'm sure our guests doing some thinking as well.
right, without a
All
doubt.
the ones that
No,
you know, all
thank
our
you so
listeners,
much.
I think
I
they're doing
appreciate it.
well.
Right, and we'll get that to you so we can then get this out here.
Hey,
so it
you
can
ain't
be,
gonna never retire.
so it can be part of history.
No, I don't think so.
But I mean, as long as you like what you're doing.
Right, like you said, I wouldn't be doing it if it was work.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
this is such a joy. I just love to see people, you know, plan this thing and hang in there long enough to see it come to fruition.
Right.
Yes.
That's right.
And I know Alan once said to me, he said, I don't understand it. The market went down 40% and nobody called you. I said, no, nobody called me.
Yeah.
Because they understand
Mhm.
what the market is. and what
It
it
goes,
does.
comes and goes,
Well-
rise and falls.
Well, look,
and
I'll
just
And
keep
they
it
know
right
the wealth.
there.
That's right. And they know they're well diversified.
Mm-hmm.
well,
That's the thing.
I'll say this. I've been drawing my money and I've been retired 3 years now, and I still have the same amount I had in there when I retired.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I've been drawing on it every month.
That's right. Absolutely. And that's the part that people need to get comfortable with.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're a numbers person. And that's why, as I mentioned to you, I do this 20-year projection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they see the year where the required minimum distribution kicks in, for example.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then they look at the bottom and they say, oh, but it's not going down.
Right.
You know, and it you know, years out, it may go down depending on how the portfolio
Yeah. Eventually,
Mhm.
right? It may.
is allocated.
But the thing about it, usually it been went up and then the down ain't so bad.
That's how it works. It works in cycles. The market,
Yes.
you know, I got a wonderful chart. I don't know whether you can see this or not. I may need to come off the wheel so you guys can see this. And this only goes through 2015. I don't know how much of it you can see.
Oh no, we can't see
No,
none of that.
it's fading away when you hold
Oh,
it
well,
up.
let's come off the let's come off the wheel then, because you got to see this. Let me choose a virtual background. No.
But just yeah, there you go. There you go. We see it good.
All right.
Now.
So you see this chart?
Yes.
Okay. Now the low part. Let's see. How can I do this? Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Mhm.
See the low part?
Right.
That's 1934.
Okay.
Okay. And so it goes from 1934 to 2015.
Mm-hmm.
And so some of the information that's in the chart is who the president is. It tells you by year, starting in 1934, It tells you about all the events that occurred that make people kind of upset. For example, Reagan and the Pope were shot. The Iraq War escalated. The U.S. bombs Libya. Recession in the U.S. The .com bubble. And what people have to understand is, despite all of that,
The impact.
look what the market is doing.
Yes.
Steadily going up.
So it's going up in an up and down sort of
Mhm.
fashion, right?
Right. But
So
yeah,
the bottom line is, it's a long-term investment.
yeah,
You don't put your money in there that that you want for for the car you want to buy
Right.
in 2 years, stuff like that. See,
Right.
there are just some basics, that you want to know. Let's have some fun here. They're just some basics, that
Yeah,
you
that's
wanna
why I
know.
want to go tropical.
Yeah, we're talking about vacationing and stuff, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So they're just some things you want to know, that'll help you, be smart in the market.
right.
But this is just exponential growth.
Yes. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Come.
And so many people are just missing it. I have I've got clients 85 years old and older, and they're in the market.
And doing mighty fine. Well, that's the stuff we do. That's the stuff we need to know, because so many.
That's why you have so many snowbirds and everything else.
It's so many folks in our community didn't get involved in
That's what
that.
I'm saying.
You know,
Yeah.
you can go down there and live for 3 months, come back in when you get ready,
Yeah. Well, you have your near-term portfolio.
Mhm.
You know how much cash you're taking out, over the next year or 2 or 3, and the stuff that's not, going to be needed for the next, 4 or 5 years, 6, 7 years, push it out there
Yeah.
into something that grows
They
Right.
grow.
And look,
and keeps up with inflation.
right. Here's my little tip. If you get a raise, don't spend the raise.
Mhm. Mhm.
Maybe a little bit of it. If you 10% of the raise.
Like you
Okay.
say, pay
Right.
yourself
The
first.
rest of it, put that money away.
Great advice.
Invest it in something.
Great advice.
Yeah, because that's the biggest problem we always have, is that every time we get it $5 more, we
Yeah.
want to live like we got 10 more.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's called the ratchet theory of economics.
Okay.
Yeah.
You said
Mhm.
ratchet.
The ratchet theory of
Okay.
economics.
Yeah.
That people tend to ratchet up their spending.
Ratchet up their spending. Yeah.
Mhm. Well, we definitely gonna need you to have you on there for part 2.
Let's have some fun. I'd love to come back and maybe talk some investment
Okay.
at that
Okay.
time.
We'll put that together.
All right.
We'll put that together.
All
love it.
right.
Because I thoroughly enjoyed it. So we didn't really get a chance to scratch the surface
Really?
of your information.
Right.
We just
Because we
jumped
could just
around.
have an example of some amount and then what you could do to it and some
Yeah.
example. We could just like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
What, I can have that much and win, and all I have to do is do $5 per week.
Yeah.
Lord.
right.
Oh, it's a
So
lot.
right. So what we're gonna do is we'll plan. We'll look at our calendars. You look at your calendar. And one of these Mondays when we out there hitting that little ball, we can put together when we have you back on.
That'd be
Yeah.
wonderful.
So you can set up a
That'd be great.
portfolio for me.
Yeah.
That would be wonderful. That would be wonderful.
All right. I appreciate it.
All right.
And
then.
we still got to talk about ETS.
How about that?
Right.
Ooh,
Yeah. But
Yeah.
We really
Loved it.
appreciate you. I loved you.
right. But we're not gonna take up any more of your time today. We appreciate you being on here.
thank you.
You had some wonderful stuff to share with us, and a lot more. Really.
Well, I appreciate what you're doing. This
Thank
is
you.
great.
Thank you.
All
I
right.
This is
appreciate it.
exactly what the community needs.
Yes, it is.
We're
Yes, it
we're
is.
trying. We're trying.
Yes.
Yeah. You tell Alvin I said, hey.
Yeah.
will.
All right.
And then let me say this real quick. For those who don't know, Alvin, who was on here with the book. I can't think names, but
I started to bring it in here.
right.
The jersey.
The jersey. That's
Yeah.
the Alvin we talk about. That's her husband.
Yeah.
I tell you, I don't
Yeah.
know. That's just too much talent under
Right.
one roof.
Well,
For these offers.
But that's the thing it's a lot of talent under everybody's roof.
I know. We just gotta be aware of it.
We just
open
don't.
up the door.
We just too busy we just too busy worrying about frivolous things
Yeah,
and not about things that matter.
yeah, yeah. What really makes America great is really the people.
The
Just-
people.
just the people, not the outliers
Right.
Right.
alone, but the
Right.
people.
Right.
I need you to survive, that's for sure.
That's right, the people.
All
All
right.
about the people.
All about the people. All right, Ramona. You take care. Thank you for being on.
Love you guys.
Love you
Bye-bye.
too.
Mm.
Bye.
Bye now.
Bye.